bang, he shot me down. Bang, bang, I hit the ground. Bang, bang, that awful sound. Bang, bang, my baby shot me down.
Hey, welcome to Half the Battle.
Bang bang!
Today we're taking a look at G.I. Joe's Mobile Missile Man.
Bang bang!
Yeah, that's gonna get old really fast.
Meet Fast Draw. This figure was released in 1987 with all original body parts. And look, I'm gonna give you a small inside look into how I make my reviews. The first thing I do is I try to look at a figure as if I'm seeing it for the first time ever to see how I'd react.
In this case, my first impression was, well, it's kinda goofy looking.
Yeah, it's mostly the helmet and the shoulder rim things that kinda put me off. Luckily, the guy is only kinda goofy, so it's not a deal breaker. His helmet has a visor that can move up and down, and the goggles are even removable, so, well, technically it's an accessory. But it's so integral to the figure, I consider it part of the thing. Besides, the faceplate goes perfectly with the theme of the figure, as he's basically supposed to be a human missile launcher. He's got thick protective padding on his legs and chest, as well as thick gloves. It's a bit of a step up from a football shirt like some previous missile experts used to wear as protective gear. The visor does make his head more wide, creating the impression that he's shorter than average, which is kinda weird.
There's not really that much more to say about the figure itself.
Kinda goofy, but not bad looking either.
What's very cool though is a set of accessories. Well, most of them anyway.
He has a missile launcher for a backpack with 2 detachable missiles, 2 hand controls for the missiles, and, a blue tube. Okay, the tube isn't so great, but the rest is cool. It's a great ensemble that makes an average figure good. Except for the hose, that looks stupid. The blue is too bright, it's the easiest piece to lose, so good luck finding a complete Fast Draw figure, and the pick can snap off and stay lodged in the visor. Overall, like we've seen before, I consider this a pretty unremarkable figure made great by his accessories. So, if you're gonna collect this guy, you need most of the stuff he came with originally. Sadly, this was the only figure of Fast Draw ever made, both in the original line and in later series. And in this case, I would have liked to have seen at least one modern figure, just to find out what the take on him would have been.
With that, it's time to move on to the character, starting with the file card.
First off, there's something a little weird that's probably unique to myself. For me, he has a very forgettable name. I can't count the number of times while making this episode where I've called him the wrong name before correcting myself. For some reason, I keep calling Fast Draw Rapid Fire, a completely different character.
I couldn't figure out why I kept having this brain fart until I remembered a little detail.
Here's some foreign file card fun thrown into our regular episode. His name in Belgium was Snelvuur, which translates to, you guessed it, rapid fire, hence my continued confusion. Anyway, I should also mention his real name on the file card is Elliot Brown, and this is one of those instances where they use the name of a real-life person as an homage. See, here I am doing it again. Fast Draw was named after an artist who worked at Marvel at the time.
You see, he was an artist, so Fast Draw. It's kinda cute, really.
In universe, however, the reason why his codename is Fast Draw relates to his personality. He sees himself as an Old West-style gunslinger.
Bang bang!
I guess him and Wild Bill should get along famously. I do have a tiny problem with this, though. So, he's a gunslinger, you say?
With just 2 bullets!
Yeah, he only has 2 missiles, so when he's on the battlefield, he can take out 2 targets, and then he's done. As you may recall, I had the exact same complaint in my Backblast review. Neither of these missile guys came with a gun. So, once Fast Draw has shot his load, he's done and has to spend the rest of the fight with his thumb up his ass. Just like Backblast. It's even worse in this case, since if you call him a gunslinger, at least give the guy a revolver or something.
Anyway,
most of the file card isn't about his character at all, but rather about the missile system he came with. So the gunslinger bit is the only characterization we get. The missile launcher is called a Fafnir, or Fire and Forget Non-Tube Launcher Infantry Rocket. And that's quite a bit of twisting and turning to come up with an anagram after you've already decided on a name.
Oh yeah, they came up with the abbreviation first, no denying that.
Fafnir is actually a character from Norse mythology. He was a dwarf that got his hands on some cursed gold and turned into an evil dragon. He was actually the inspiration for Smaug from The Hobbit. But to bring it back to Marvel Comics, he was also a character that fought Thor on several occasions. Not sure what any of this crap has to do with a missile launcher, but hey, at least I lost half an hour of my life researching this stuff.
Winning!
Moving on to the comics, I'm afraid there's not a whole lot to say. Fastra is introduced in issue 60 along with a bunch of other characters. And he sure nails standing in the background. The story is about a rogue element within the US government who are trying to blow up Cobra Island with a giant missile, and the Joes have to stop them. Hell, Fastra and others were told they were members of the Joe team tasked with guarding the missile, but it was a fake-out. This plot was uncovered by Chuckles, who informed General Hawk. Now, there's a huge missile that needs to be taken out, and you've got a guy with a missile launcher strapped to his back. One would think this meant our gunslinger would get his moment to shine by destroying the thing after it takes off.
Oh, ye of too much faith.
He does try to do that, but gets bumped by a dreadnought at the wrong moment, causing him to miss. Oh yeah, the dreadnoughts think it's the Joes who are trying to launch the missile, so they attack them. At the end of the issue, the rocket is heroically destroyed by a missile, though it's fired from a Cobra helicopter. Instead of by, the guy whose whole raison d'etre is firing missiles. He does accomplish one thing in the issue. He saved General Hawk's life.
Saving one of the biggest douches in the comic. Not sure I want to call that a win.
His only other noteworthy appearance, and I use the term noteworthy extremely loosely here, is during the Cobra Civil War arc where the Joes invade Cobra Island. He, destroys a couple of mega tanks. And then I assume he stands around giving moral support since he's out of freaking missiles and doesn't have a gun. He shows up for maybe a couple more panels, but really his only shining moment was destroying those two tanks. It's a real shame, really. He could have been featured more in the comic. As far as the cartoons go, well, he didn't appear in any of them. He came out in 1987, and several toys from that year did appear in G.I.Joe the movie, but Fastra wasn't one of them.
I guess there just wasn't room for him in this cinematic opus.
And there was room for a racial stereotype that didn't even get a toy, but not Fastra. I'd wanna blow up stuff with a missile too. And that was Fastra. In conclusion, it was an okay figure with some great accessories. And the character really would have benefited from getting at least one more toy and far more coverage in other media.
Bang bang!
Just a little heads up. Next weekend is gonna be super busy for me. It's gonna be Easter as well as my birthday, so I'm not gonna have that much time. Now, there will be a review, it's gonna be a little different than what you're used to. Anyway, I'll see you next week, people. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing?
Bang, bang, he shot me down. Bang, bang, I hit the ground. Bang, bang, that awful sound. Bang, bang, my baby shot me down.
And your bollocks did up good, you did.
Today, we're taking a look at G.I. Joe's mobile missile.